Hey, good morning. Welcome to Viking Preparedness. I'm Pastor Joe Fox. So, do you like bushcrafting? No? Do you like Boy Scouts? Do you like spy gadgets and history? Today, we're going to do show and tell and story time with Pastor Joe. Trying to figure out how I want to tell it for the most effect. So I was in Boy Scouts, and we used to do a lot of camping when I was in. And I was a teenager, and I had my teenage friends, and we would camp with Boy Scouts and on our own, and we liked mountain man stuff, and, just general redneck run around the woods teenagers. And one day, my father gave me a knife. Matter of fact, he gave me this knife. Now, it did not look like this when he gave it to me. It had a leather strap right here going at an angle to stick on your belt. This thing's like a gladius, right? Like a Roman short sword. It was not beat up like this. It had a leather thong through the handle. Flat piece of leather. It's kind of interesting. And the blade was brand new. Brand spanking new. Never been used when he gave it to me. This is Parkerized, and it was so Parkerized. It was crystalline looking, and it had a smell to it. The case is made of leather over wood. And it's this big. And there are no markings on the knife of any kind. It's just like that. Wooden handle. 2 rivets. And, so he gave it to me, and he goes, yeah, they pulled this out of a warehouse when I went to a certain unnamed Southeast Asian country, and they gave it to me to use. And I never used it, which is part 2 of this story. And so here, you can have it. You can dig holes with it, chop down trees, do whatever you want. You can't hurt it. The thing's a beast. And that's all I knew. And so I proceeded to dig holes with it, chop down trees with it. At some point, the leather thong that was on here rotted or ripped through, so I replaced it with 550 cord. At some point, again, this was brand spanking new when he gave it to me. At some point, this leather strap broke off that put it on your belt, and that was later, wasn't it? Because he gave it to me. I did all those things as a boy, and then it went in a box somewhere. Then I joined the Army. And at one point, I became the reconnaissance platoon leader, the scout platoon leader, and we used to carry big knives on our rucksacks and stuff. And so I whipped this one out, and this strap quickly broke then, and so I replaced it. And this tape underneath here is that plastic tape with the fibers in it. I don't even know if they make that tape anymore, but it used to be a really strong tape. And I taped on 2 Alice clips, and then I covered it with 100-mile-an-hour tape to keep it camo, man. And I used to carry this on my LCE, if you can believe that. It was a cool guy knife. That's all it was. And that is actually when I replaced the 550, the thong with 550 cord. And then I would carry it around in Hawaii and chop down guava bushes, dig holes and stuff when I was doing those kind of things, scout things. And then one day I read an article in a knife magazine about a guy who had one of these in about this condition that he had gotten. Now, you remember when I got mine, it was brand new mint. Still had that new knife smell. And turns out that this knife is called a Smatchet. And it was designed by Fairbairn or Applegate. One of the two. See, if I was a really good YouTuber, and a video producer, I would have done my research for that. One of those two guys. But it was designed in World War II as the perfect all-around close-quarters weapon. And there is a manual of arms for this thing that, you can smash somebody with it. You can stab them with it. You can definitely chop off an arm with it. Wata! Like that. It's really cool. It's called the Smatchet. The OSS, the Office of Strategic Services, picked up a bunch of them, had them made by Case, the company, and they were and are sterile. There are no markings that can link this back to the United States. The fact that I had one at one time that was brand new mint makes me in some ways a little sad. Because it would have been worth $1 bazillion in the condition that I got it in. And when I showed that article to my wife, and I think it might have been an Atlanta Cutlery magazine article. I think the guy got one for like $750, and he thought he stole it. And that was in the 80s. And when my wife found that out, she made me take it off my LCE. She said, "Go take that off. It's too expensive. You're always losing knives in the jungle." And so, yeah. This is the Combat Smatchet. This is a real one from the World War II time frame. Now, the OSS was disbanded in 1947, and it was reformed into another intelligence organization, which inherited all their warehouses. And therefore, my father was given this, going to this jungly place, because they thought, this might be useful. So that is phase one of this story. You want to talk about a stout, cool blade. I want to talk about a bushcrafting blade, a self-defense blade. It could even be an assault blade, right? The Combat Smatchet. This one was built by Case. There are no markings. And like I said at one time, I had it in brand new condition. Why did I get it in brand new condition if it was given to my father and he was running around the jungle for a couple years doing the things? Because as soon as he got there, with all his new kit and everything like that, one of his LBGs, one of his guys, you can kind of see some of the crystalline on there. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but it's like reflecting. Let me see if I can get that for you. Look down here. Can you see? Let me get it out here. I don't think that's going to work. Maybe like that. Little sparklies. Anyway, he was given another knife, and so he decided to use and carry that knife instead. And that knife was this knife right here. It used to have another piece of bamboo cordage right here. He carried this for years, and then he drilled 2 little holes in it, my father did, right here, and hung it on his "I love me" wall behind the bar. But he literally carried this tucked into his pistol belt, just made a loop in it and tucked this in, and that's how he carried it. And this is the knife he used. It used to have on the handle here, this is metal, we're going to take it out in a second, it had a kind of brassish looking cap over this end. I think it had it when he gave it to me. I don't know where that is. This is handmade. Bamboo. This is big bamboo sheath. You can see it was cut, it was hollowed out in 2 pieces to make room for the blade, and then it was just held together with these bamboo cordages, if you will. And they did a really good job. I don't know how they braided them together like that. I guess right there's a splice in the middle. All right, here's the knife. This is it right here. This was beaten on a primitive forge out of a leaf spring from some kind of vehicle. It has a lovely curve, which I love on my knives for slicing. It has an adequate point for pew, 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 sticking, and the point is almost in the center line, which is what you want for stabbing. It's pretty thick. Can you see that? How thick it is? I'd say right here's almost a 1/4 inch, and then it tapers down nicely. Having learned fairly recently how to work steel a little bit, I appreciate how the worker of this steel took it from this thickness down to a thinner thickness in a uniform manner. Points had a little bit of damage. Now you can tell this knife's been used, and not by me. I've never used this knife. This knife was used by my dad in the jungle, doing the jungle things, mostly making camp at night and stuff like that. It's a lot lighter than the Smatchet, so for carrying it around the jungle, it's almost as long. Can you see that? It's almost as long if you go from hilt to hilt like that. Handle's a little bit longer. You can chop things a lot better, I think. You know, lighter vegetation, you can get this whipping motion easier with this one than this one. This one you kind of have to hang on to and chop with your whole arm. This one you can do, if you guys are familiar with this technique right here, waka, 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 like that. And so, yeah, this in brand new condition was given to him and given to me. And my dad said, oh, cool, I'll use this. But then as soon as he got there, one of his guys gave him one of these, gave him this one. And he used this. And so this is the bushcraft knife. And this one is really sharp still. Really sharp. Like it. There, I had to seat it. The wood has gotten, I probably need to put some serious oil on it. The wood has gotten a little bit loose. This knife is a little bit loose. I would feel uncomfortable actually going out there and chopping with it anymore. There's a crack right there. I don't know if you can see that. Paint from when it was hanging on a wall that probably got painted or something. I don't know. But yeah, that's the tale of two knives. Right there. The Combat Smatchet and its replacement, built by some local guy in a third world country. Yeah. All right. I hope that was interesting. I will see you out there.